welcome to Afflictions Sugarcoated, podcast where we sugarcoat some of the world's so-called afflictions and rate their plausibility on a scale of 1 to 5. I'm Minnie Kim, and today we'll be sugarcoating the practice of eating 12 grapes under the table. There's this tradition under a table at midnight on New Year's Eve, and it's to eat 12 grapes, one at each chime of the clock. We have 12 months in a year. For each of the grapes, you're supposed to wish for one good thing for each month. I think it's a Spanish or Latin American tradition, and it's called the 12 Grapes of Luck. After coming back to school from break, there weren't a lot of things to talk about. No more New Year's resolutions. People were just really happy to share that eating 12 grapes in a matter of almost 12 seconds is near impossible. I know that this episode's title is definitely uncalled for, especially on the dot at the beginning of February, but I was a bit too emotionally invested in everything else to care much about the new year. There were college decisions for seniors, my grades, and Hell Weeks, and coming back to school after a well deserved break from Hell Weeks. Hell Weeks are these 2 weeks at my school in between Thanksgiving break and winter break. It's also the beginning of a new term because my school goes in trimesters. That means that literally every one of my classes will try to fit in its first major assessment in the second week of those 2 weeks. It means a faster learning pace, but in other words, a pseudo finals week with homework and regular classes. That paired with my jet lag as an international student, which only wanes off after a week, means that those 2 weeks were definitely one of my worst ones. Then we go home, and there then we go home, and then we do nothing for a good 2 weeks, and then we come back. At least I didn't do much. I watched a lot of TV, almost an insufferable amount, and of course, I ate a lot of good food. I had about two gatherings with the same people, my immediate family and my grandparents, one gathering for Christmas and one for the New Year. They all left before 8 p.m., talking about how when we were young, this and that happened. And then my immediate family played poker, and now I'm here. And it's also the new year. It was also Christmas, and my computer reads January 18th, the day I'm recording this. I guess it doesn't help that my family isn't big. My dad has a brother and a sister. Their children are all grown and have jobs. My mom also has a brother and a sister. One of them don't have kids at all, and the other family lives very far away. Only my grandparents are within a 30-minute car drive. It also doesn't help that my family isn't devoutly religious. We don't really go to church on Christmas, although I do know that that can be a very validating or devoutful event. So the winter break's always been about family for me, and this year was no different. So when my dorm mates were talking about the 12 grapes of luck, I said I'd heard of it, but that was it to my acquaintance. I honestly would have done it just to eat the grapes. My family has also been a fan of New Year's resolutions. We gather together often until 12 or sometimes even 1 a.m. on January 1st and start writing things out on a Google Doc. I was always the scribe. Everyone gets 5 goals, and almost none of them are reached by the end of the year. To give some examples from each of our 5 goals, my sister's goal was to do 50 push ups in a row. My dad's goal was to play the guitar. My mom's goal was to lose some weight. Actually, that one might be true or it may have been attained. And my goal was to start some research. None of these happened except for my mom, maybe. I haven't really checked with her. And this year, we didn't even write our New Year's resolutions for 2025. We just talked a lot, We watched a lot of movies. We were very scattered for all of those days. I don't think there was a single setting where everyone was just into talking about the new year. It was more about what we do the other day, or the next day, or the next week. It's only been a few weeks, and I can't really recall every one of those 2 marvelous weeks. And I know that holiday traditions are supposed to be traditions. They're the 12 grapes, playing poker for my family, writing out New Year's resolutions, having a party, going to church. All these depend on other humans like family, friends, church friends. Something scary is when there is no family, no friends to do this with. You can write up a New Year's resolution by yourself, but who would be there to mock you the next year for not doing them? And then there's the premise of the 12 grapes of luck, 12 wishes for 12 months. How exactly would that work? January, I wish for the health of my parents, but it's not like I don't wish for the health of my parents on February just because I say I want to get an A in math. Of course, there's logic and fun behind all of this. What people were talking about was the fact that it was just ridiculous to stuff 12 grapes in their mouths and finish all of it within seconds, all while thinking of 12 wishes for the new year. Then there's the wish part. Will we work harder to make those wishes come true? Or is it just a wish? Something that you know won't happen or you want happening, but doesn't necessarily mean that you can talk it into existence. In no way am I trying to criticize the 12 grapes tradition. I think it's a fun tradition, and I'm pretty sure there's more culture, there's more history to all of this, but also it's very symbolic and exists in some shape or form in every country or community. You can think of one tradition that's similar to this in your country. It's always luck and prosperity. In money, health, relationships, those three govern almost everything that happens. I feel like Happy New Year is a quote in and of itself, but there can be more to this. So let's do more. Vern McClellan. What the new year brings to you will depend a great deal on what you bring to the new year. I think most people would agree to this. I think most people would agree to this. The fact that the new year is not necessarily about the new year, but also about you and how you use the 365 days. That could be going to the gym more, publishing a new book, getting a promotion, raising a kid in a certain way, getting good grades, getting into college, getting a job, staying healthy, spending more time with family, being more happy. But I think a lot of people are accustomed to the fact now that those things are forgotten by February. And perchance, if you were lucky, you would have listened to this podcast during February. And perchance, the month that you feel like your New Year's good luck is ending will be extended to March. What is it that we do each year? I go to school. I do what seems like an endless mountain of homework. Other people go to work. They also do what seems like an endless pile of work. They make efforts to hang out with friends. And frankly, there's nothing wrong with any of this. What is it about regret that makes people pedal faster? I think it's a bit scarier to pedal faster. It's fit for some people. I've seen people fit for it. And sometimes I'll be lucky enough to think that it fits me. Others don't just fall behind, they're pressed by regret, by things that are more significant or grave, anything else they can live with. Josiah Martin, the magic in new beginnings is truly the most powerful of them all. Savor the magic, I think, is the message. It's entirely up to you if it lasts long enough. I hope it does. There is something called incremental happiness that doesn't come from the satisfaction of drawing a check mark in a big check box. I like to think it's a matter of looking at the incrementals as a pool of ink that slowly spreads across the many checkboxes, or the paper that the checkboxes were supposed to be written on. And maybe I'll have more than just 12 grapes. I'll enjoy the grapes. I'll have 14. Or even better, I won't count them. I give the sugarcoating of the 12 grapes of luck a 4. This podcast was written and produced by me, Minnie Kim. If you have any comments or reviews, please feel free to write any and all thoughts in your podcast reviews. If you'd like to suggest an affliction for me to sugarcoat, please email me via afflictionsugarcoated@gmail.com. I hope that you can put aside your New Year's resolution in the deepest part of your head and start trying to attain those goals. I hope you enjoy the new year, and as always, I'll see you next month.